crap.
What?
Yeah.
Why he throw my designs in the ground? What's this reaction? Why? I stayed all night working on this. He doesn't understand anything.
This is the Distance to Destination show, where I invite talented people to sit down with me and talk about their passion and their journey towards their goals. My first guest is a YouTuber, filmmaker, photographer, musician, designer, and I also hear that he's gonna be a Sushi Master. Thanos Chatzitsakos, all the way from London.
Thanks for inviting me, man. Being your first guest is feels cool.
Thanks for being my first guest, man. So I'm not sure how to do this. It's the first time, so be patient. It's gonna take a while. Tell me more about you.
I studied graphic design at Acto here in Greece. And my first job was in a creative department. So after a few years, I felt really comfortable using Photoshop on a daily basis. And I said to myself, the next step to evolve is to get a camera in my hands because I like the process and all the stuff. So I started working with photography, like for fun actually, on my free time. Because I've built a lot of websites at the time, I made myself a website. Just to keep myself involved, I thought to myself, if I make a website uploading my photos, I will get addicted a little bit, and I will not just buy the camera and after a week I will have it gathering dust on myself,
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
So it was all just for fun actually, but the site actually made my image on my social media look like I am a pro, even if I weren't. So I started getting clients from this website that I made for nothing, and it worked. So I started being a photographer, and I believed it at some point. So I kind of became a photographer like that.
I think this is how we start. So
yeah,
we don't start like a pro.
That's true, but the correct order is to go to college and stuff like that. That's it used to be.
Yeah, not so much.
It used to be, and yeah, it worked for me. The truth is that I used to watch lectures about photography, and I was kind of studying on my own. With the help of internet, you have access to a lot of information, and I really put the time down to learn all the technical stuff, and I was carrying the camera with me all day long everywhere I go, and from home to work I would take it out in the morning and take a photo and stuff like that. So yeah.
So I want to have a signature question in the beginning of every podcast, and I will ask the same question to all my guests.
All right.
And it's inspired from the title of the podcast. And this is, which is your distance from your destination? Meaning, what are your goals, dreams, and how far you think you are right now to get there?
All right. Interesting question, man. Deep. Makes you look yourself in the mirror. So I guess my goal is to take all my interests and my hobbies and make them a full-time job. Meaning YouTube videos, design, graphic design, music, photography, and be able to pay the rent doing that,
Okay.
what I like to do.
If it could be only one.
If it could be only one.
YouTube design or photos?
I would totally choose YouTube because I love the process filming, I love the process editing and all this stuff. But I think they are relative to each other, meaning they are creative jobs, and you can totally make a video for a company or a shop and improve the logo or something like that, you know.
And what do you think is the distance right now from your goals?
I think I'm kind of far away because now I moved to London, and I got a little bit
Sidetracked.
further away than I was closer here in Greece to my goal, and now moving in London took me back. I feel like I start from scratch there because I went without my computer. I left all my lights behind. Here I had a small home studio and I could do specific stuff. So I went there and I felt naked going there, and I feel like I'm further back away. I got my experience still. I got a laptop now. I start moving closer to my goal again, but I see the goal as far away from where I am.
0 being not started at all to 10 making your goal.
I think
which is the number before you go to London and now.
I think before I got to London, I already had some customers with photography and stuff like that, and web design. So I think I was closer to 7.5, and in London, meaning that I haven't looked for a client yet. I believe I'm back at 5.
Okay.
Because
So you
I
are
say
halfway.
5. Yeah, I say 5 because I still have my experience and I still do stuff for my channel and for myself on my free time, but I haven't.
So if you meet people there,
Yeah,
new
exactly,
clients,
exactly.
you're gonna go back to 7.
Kinda. I will start going towards 7, I
Okay,
guess.
okay.
Yeah.
Good. You're halfway. So
I texted, you know, all these things, or even when I was in Greece, they came in a 10 years period. So I feel like I do baby steps, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like that. But yeah, it's still steps.
yeah, everyone moves in their own time and pace, and yeah. So what inspired you to move to London? And this is actually the theme of the podcast, because I'm also interested to move abroad and work in another city. So-
Yeah, it looks like a trend lately to move to other countries. I think it will feel.
I think
it-
500 years ago they also moved with ships to the US.
Yeah,
to
but
just,
I believe it was a way smaller percentage.
Yeah.
I believe because of internet now that we feel closer to other countries or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not
it's
sure.
cheaper
Anyways.
to do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's easier to work from your country, a cheaper country, with salaries of a bigger one.
Yeah,
So
well,
why
that's the
you
goal,
should
right?
move to another?
Depends on the job. Some
Yeah.
jobs
Yeah.
they don't give you this opportunity. Some others do. Yeah.
So what inspired you to move to London?
I took the decision just like that in just a week or something. I went
I remember it was
kind of.
really fun.
Yeah.
It was like a phone call. I'm leaving for London.
Yeah.
What?
It was kind of really fast. Actually, my girlfriend had the idea, and she's from Moldova, and we met here, and we started living together here. And she came for vacation, and she stayed for me. And she stayed here for about a little bit more than a year, looking for a job here, but she doesn't speak Greek at all. And it was very hard for her to find a job not speaking the language. Like she sent a million CVs and 99.9% didn't even call back or anything. So she told me, listen, I found we can rent a room with a cheap rent and we can try it. I checked the tickets. They were like nothing, 40 euros, I think, to go there.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, okay, she stayed here 1 year for you. I have at least to give it a try, you know, to make it work for both of us. And I said to myself that it's 40 years to go there. If it doesn't work, it's gonna be another 40 years to come back.
Yeah,
right?
worst case scenario, you just spent 18 years.
Yeah, and the rent for a month or something like that. Like the budget wasn't really something extreme. London is close; it's a 3.5 hours flight, so it felt kind of in a safe environment. I had the money for a few rents in front. So I said to myself, okay, let's do it. And another thing that pushed me was fear, because I felt that I'm going out of my comfort zone. I will go to a strange, I will go to
You mean overcoming fear?
yeah, exactly. Because my first reaction was logic. It was like, you can't go there. You have your house here. You have clients here. Everything goes well here. If everything goes well, why you have to destroy everything and start something new?
Yeah.
That was my first thought. But I said to myself something a few years ago, that if you want to grow as a person and as an artist, you have to start saying yes to challenge, and especially when something doesn't make sense to you, and you see that it's the comfort zone that keeps you behind. This is what you have to find the guts.
I really believe that.
And be like, dude, do it.
Yeah.
This if you make it, you're gonna become a stronger person after this.
And in those situations, all the time I'm thinking, what is the worst case scenario? And as you said, it's like you spend a little bit of money and you can get back and find again your clients and continue from where you left. So it's like you didn't really lose something.
Yeah. You leave time. You leave. In these cases, usually you gamble with losing your time, losing your money, and sometimes your health. I don't know if you're like doing something like extreme sports, or I don't know the situation, but or going to a trip to a difficult.
But I think it can also apply it could also apply the other way around. So if you stay here, maybe again you're losing time, not
True.
getting to the next step, and maybe you're getting worse mentally because you
remain
don't
the same.
grow.
Yeah.
So it's both ways.
Exactly. And this logic, I found it on your first video actually, and I felt totally related. And I was like, man, exactly. This is what I'm talking about. When you said that get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like you said that you don't feel like turning the camera to yourself, having the sun into your eyes, but that's the best angle to shoot it, and it feels like it makes you feel uncomfortable, but that's what's gonna make the video look more professional, and you actually make it look more professional. And this is the stuff. You find the cold water and you have to jump inside. You know.
So, one advice you will give me if I wanted to move to London?
To London specifically, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the biggest thing is the moment you have the idea you want to move to London, start sending CVs.
Okay.
That's my first advice. Like, start sending CVs even earlier, because we are in an age that, especially with creative stuff like graphic design, you can send CVs and you can have an interview via Skype. They can give you a test and you can do it from your house and send your designs as a trial. And you can move a lot of steps being here,
Without being there, losing money and time.
And the other thing, one thing is that if you move forward and they invite you to the interview, to actually physically to tell you, yes, come here, we'll have the final interview here or stuff like that, you go there with a different mentality. You go there feeling already that you accomplished something.
Yeah, I'm the final step. So.
Yeah, kind of like that. The other thing is that in London specifically because it's an overpopulated city, and a lot of people every day on a daily basis move there, and they get even more populated, and the competition is huge, and the process to find a job there can take even months in some instances. So the sooner you start dipping your feet in these waters, the better.
How long did it take you to find a job?
In my case, I tried the first month to find a job on my field. I couldn't, and I started looking for other stuff because I didn't have a huge budget to stay looking for a job for
that specific area.
Exactly.
So
I couldn't wait more than a month. So when I saw that the month is going to an end, I said to myself, all right, now we start.
Okay, so you give yourself like 30 days to
exactly.
find a job.
Exactly.
Like, in your
I
reach.
went to a lot of interviews, but I didn't make it to the final steps. So.
So right now, what do you think in the future you will be back in searching in your field?
That was the plan.
Yeah.
Like after 3-4 months, I will start sending CVs again. Now I have my papers. I have a national insurance. I have a bank account in a London bank, and I have all the papers I didn't have before that they were asking me to present in the interviews, and I couldn't, and it was a big minus on my case. But the truth is that on the job I have now, I work on a sushi restaurant that I climb stages, like I'm moving up and up and up, and I'm curious to see where this is gonna take me. I started, I went there because I had to, but I feel like I'm doing something there, I'm growing there.
So you prefer to do
I'm curious, I'm really curious.
A random job abroad instead of...
Yeah, it has, it has some plus. So in Greece, I had the experience of working in work similar to what I like. I used to do design and printing on a daily basis on my day job. And then coming back home and spending 8 to 10 hours on your day job doing graphic design. When you come home and you have your own clients, you feel really drained. Your batteries need to charge.
I'm doing this for the last 5 years. So
you have to convince yourself, come on, this is my own clients. I charge more here. It's they pay overtime. And you have to go through this phase. Now it's the first time in my life that my day job is not in front of a computer. It's not a graphic design job. And I go back home and I feel fresh and thirsty
because you're doing something different.
I do something totally different.
Okay.
And I don't look in a screen in my day job. So I go back home and I feel like I want to be creative. I have to do something today and stuff like that. Because if I feel like if I don't do something creative, the day is ruined. I ruined one day of my life doing nothing. Nothing will leave behind, And I like this. I didn't think about it before.
For me, I want to move abroad, but one of the main things I don't know if I will compromise will be to find a random job. I could stay in a small house in the center of New York with just one bed and a toilet, nothing else, but my first thing will be to find a company with a good culture that I really like, and the second one will be to do a job that I really like to do. So I don't care about the house or the other stuff, but so I like that you don't care about doing the random stuff in the beginning.
It wasn't my plan. I didn't plan this, but living it and doing it made me realize some stuff I couldn't realize before. So I found some pros in there. And in general, because leaving everything behind is stressful. You have to learn new rules to move in a new town, and I try to look at it as positive. I'm trying to find a positive point of view, and I feel like an explorer on my days off. I go to
totally.
I take the tube and I go to random places to
This
see.
is one of the things why I want to move abroad, because you feel like an explorer. You're doing something completely different you have never done before. And you're exploring and finding a new culture, and you seeing things from a different perspective.
Exactly.
And that's really good for your own self development, I think.
Exactly, totally. It forces you things you take from granted, like even bad things that happen in Greece. For instance, the drivers don't care that much about pedestrians. Mm-hmm. You go there and you see when you are walking to cross the street, everybody stops.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, what's going on here? Why did it stop? And I'm like, go, I will pass after you. And they are like, come on, man, you have priority. I have priority. I know, but nobody stopped before for me. Too weird, you know. And it makes you realize all the bad stuff that you didn't even think they are bad.
Yeah, because seeing things from completely different.
Yeah, you grow up. If you grow up with something going wrong, it's hard to realize it.
Yeah, you don't realize it. Yeah. So moving abroad, do you think things are better, or is it just an illusion? And I'm saying this because I would love to move to Paris to work there, but I have family there that want to leave Paris for the better place and go to Australia, for example. So for me, it will be a better life in my mind to move to Paris, but for them, it will be a better
Yeah, I know what you
thing to move from Paris, go to somewhere else. So is it true that the grass look greener in the neighbor's yard?
Yeah, if you look at it on outside the problem, it looks like a paradox. Like, why I wanna move in London and people that move in London want to move elsewhere? It doesn't make sense. But I'm absolutely positive that it makes you grow as a person, because the people that grew up in London, their whole lives they've seen London. You grew up in Greece, your whole life you've seen Greece. Yeah. And these two countries have totally different systems.
It's the same thing we were saying just now about culture.
They have, like, in general, everybody that moves to a different country, I think their minds open way bigger. And I've noticed this on my friends that studied on different countries. When they came back, they became, I couldn't recognize them, when we sat down to talk and stuff like that. I felt like, man, this guy, this guy did something I didn't know back then. Is it the studies? Is it the university? What the fuck is it? But now I'm convinced that it's the moving outside, and especially just if you imagine that going as a tourist to a different country,
this is exactly what I want to
staying there for 5 days, how many different stuff you see. If you try to make it there and stay there as a citizen, it gives you this amount multiplied by 10.
Yeah, because you're not a tourist, you're not in vacation, you're doing things that locals do, and you're trying to be smart about your decisions and all of that.
Exactly, and you are forced to make it in a different country. You are forced to find out how the paperwork works there, how to open a bank account, how to get in the system, and it's a totally different system. So you have to find new ways to do this in there.
Another thing that I like, another factor that I like, is that you can learn new languages when you move there, because
you
can move to Spain and speak Spanish, but you don't really know them, but you can talk, learn them. So.
Yeah, that helped me a lot with my English. I know
or even English, you're speaking better now.
I'm speaking way better now. My accent is getting better, and but if I was going to a different I choose London because it seemed like a safe choice to me, because I believe I can speak English. When you go there, you realize that you don't know that great. Your level of English are not that great.
You're speaking USA English, not UK
exactly.
English.
I had a huge problem like that.
You didn't understand?
Going in work, I was like, okay, where do we throw the garbage? And they were like, what? Garbage? You mean rubbish? And I'm like, what? No, it's garbage, man. What the fuck?
Also, I don't remember if
It's
it's
like
in Holland. It's like restroom or toilet is one of the two,
yeah,
something like
yeah,
this.
it's like
Restroom,
that.
I think. Yeah.
They have a lot of, but it's fun, yeah.
Back to your goal. What do you think is the biggest difficulty right now to get there?
Yeah, a huge difficulty from my point of view is that because in London the rent is very expensive, and a lot of people just, in my case, I rent a room in a house. We just rent a room. We are with another couple, and I have a huge problem of space. For instance, this thing we do here, I can't possibly imagine doing it in London. I don't have space. I don't have space for my stuff. I wanted to bring my computer, my PC, but it's huge, and I don't even have a place to put my computer. You know, this is a huge difficulty for me, and I'm used to living in my own huge house.
Yeah,
and it was one of the first.
totally. It's a huge transaction. You have like 5 rooms, 2 restrooms, and a huge balcony, and it's all on your own. You go back there, and it's like one small room.
One small room, yeah. And fuck, it's really difficult. It was one of my first difficulties, and I'm still not used to it, you know. Mm-hmm. After 7 months, I'm still not used to it, but I'm working through it, you know.
If you move to another place with a bigger house, maybe you are just the two of you with your girlfriend, it will be easier for you
that would be easier, but it's not an option because it's really, really, really expensive there to find this kind of stuff. I have to find a job that gives me at least twice the money I get now, and this is a huge jump, and usually it takes time to build it to go there.
A better paying job in order to move to a better place.
Exactly, yeah. At least
and then
twice
if
a paycheck.
you do those steps and you go to a new place with 3 rooms or 4. How do you think you're gonna use the space in order to get closer to your goal?
Yeah, well, one thing is that it gives you peace of mind to live, me and my girlfriend, on a house without roommates. It gives you peace of mind, and it makes you relax more mentally. The other thing is that, of course, one of the rooms is gonna be my studio. I'm gonna get my lights and everything, and it's gonna be my workspace. Totally. And my girlfriend too, she's doing illustrations, likes to paint, so she needs a room too, and this is hard for us.
Which is the cost for a big house like this in London?
I didn't even check, man. For instance, I will tell you what I know, all right? I rent 1 room in an apartment, a bedroom, and we also have a toilet. The other couple has their own, it's a toilet house. So we pay for the month approximately 500 pounds
it's
per
like
month.
600 euros, something like this.
Yeah, in Greece you can get a huge house.
Huge house with 600.
A normal house, we rent just a room.
Yeah.
Just a room.
So I think that in London, a cheap house will be 5 times that or 6 times.
It's gonna be, I believe, a house with Greek, how they call it? A house like the houses we know here in Greece.
Yeah.
This amount of rooms and space, I think they probably start around 1,700. Yeah. 1.7 around there.
Okay. So it's expensive.
It is.
It is expensive to live there, like groceries, and is it a difference from here? Big difference from here?
Yeah, there's a big difference. So huge expense is the rent. Another really big expense is the food, especially if you eat out. If you don't go to the supermarket to cook for your own, if you go out to eat, the money fly. And another one is the transportation. they have really expensive transport. I take the train every day to go to my work, and it's a huge expense for me. For instance, well, on my days off, as I told you before, I will go to the center and I will do crazy stuff most of the time. But just the transport for me, it's £260 per month.
Yeah, that's expensive. Because here it's like 30 euros.
Yeah, that's that sounds like
But
a
you have
joke,
cut down one of your expenses because now you're eating sushi.
Yeah, that was my that was my point of view. If I can't work in graphic design or photography or printing industry, because the food is a huge expense in London to find a job in the food industry. And it actually worked because I work in a sushi restaurant, and every time I close the shop, I come home with a lot of boxes, what's left. And even my roommates, they get impressed by this fact. And
Sushi
they wait.
party!
Yeah, they stay awake until I come back to get their boxes, and we'll have a sushi party nearly every night. It might be popular. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm hearing that you're getting better and better at doing this, so will you do it as a full-time job to be a sushi master in the future?
Well, at this point, I feel like trying. I feel like it's worth trying for it. Yeah. For instance, I moved down in the kitchen and I started my training as a fish cutter, and it's an 8 weeks training. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of practice. Yeah. You have to do a lot of kilos every day to get the speed, to get the quality, to get all this stuff. We have really tight rules. I have to study, I have to read books, I have to do master classes on the head office every week, and it's challenging, and I like challenging stuff, as I told you before. I welcome them. I have fear. I feel like, man, what am I doing? I should go back to graphic design. What am I doing here? But because it's challenging, I welcome it, and I feel like it has things to teach me as a character, build my character, build my everything, So yeah, I welcome it.
Okay. Which is your favorite project you have done and why?
All right. Well, to be honest, because I'm kind of emotional with my creation, I feel all of them as my children, I get super excited, even if my project is really crap. The moment I finish it, I feel like I have to show it to everybody I know, and I want to expose it. I want to get feedback. I believe in it, even if it turns out to be a total
That's
mess,
cool, because I'm the exactly opposite. I'm gonna make something and I'm gonna pass like 2 years and I haven't released anything, and everybody tells me, this is really good, what are you posting? Anything? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to perfect it, and I think it's a bad thing to have because you don't sharing as much as you should.
Yeah, exactly. But on the other hand, you give a really professional profile on the outside, the way you do it. The way I do it, I get attached emotionally with my work, and I feel like it's the best. Like most of the time, after 3 months, I look my portfolio and I'm like, this shouldn't be here. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. And I remake.
This means that you grow.
Yeah, that's true. Like for instance, my personal website for graphic design, that's the older one, I have completely deleted it and rebuilt it from the start 7 times.
Oh,
from the first one,
Okay.
And if you check, everything is totally different than the previous one. But yeah, I feel, because it's mine, I feel free to experiment and stuff.
And when you get so emotional with your project, do you find it hard when people judge it?
Oh, in the beginning, yeah. Like on my first job, I can tell you a small story. Like I got my first job when I was studying graphic design, and it was really hard for me because in the morning I had to go to the university. After the university, I had to go to work and close my 8 hours of work. I usually was the only one left in the building. Yeah. I usually was the last one to stay in the office and close the door behind me. And when I go home late at night, I would have to do stuff for the university and what is left for the job. And I felt like a total zombie, you know, back then.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of work there, and my superior was my boss was the owner of the company. He had this company for a lot of years. He had a lot of experience, and he was really strict. Like in the beginning, like his reaction would vary because he had a trained eye and he knew what works and what doesn't work. And a lot of times I brought in the morning my designs to show him I made this, and this, and he took them and he was like, crap, come tomorrow with new ones. And he left, you know, and it was a huge shock for me, but it was a real school because this makes you build your character.
And you see
and
what your limits are. And
What?
Yeah.
Why he throw my designs in the ground? What's this reaction? Why? I stayed all night working on this. He doesn't understand anything.
You know, that was the emotional response to this shock. But this actually built, like, after working
Like
with
a
this
shield.
guy, I can work anywhere, man. I don't even care, you know.
Yeah.
You've seen so many stuff and you expect a lot of reactions, so
I had
I
a
was
lot of
prepared.
teachers in graphic design school that were like,
It's close, it's a really close, but imagine they are teachers and you're a student, you have a different, you can kind of have a different relationship that you feel free to keep a percentage of what you hear and tell them, you didn't get my point or something. When it's your boss, you don't have a lot of space to react or to answer back. It's
especially in the beginning, you're not like, I'm quitting. Cannot do that in the first job because it's your first
but
job.
it was cool. You know, when I look back to this moment, I feel blessed that it happened to me in the early beginning because it prepared me and it gave me weapons to for the next transactions.
Awesome. So, which is your favorite project that you worked on?
True, that was the question, right? Emotionally, my favorite project is my photography portfolio. If I want to be strict with myself, I know I have better websites out there that I made for other companies, and the outcome is more professional and greater. But my photography portfolio is my personal favorite work because I made it. I didn't really make it for showing to people. I made it just to keep my web design skills, you know, to sharpen them. And it actually worked. Like it was like a miracle to me, you know, to have clients from this site that I didn't even made it to show to other people. And it made them believe that I'm a professional even in the beginning, in my early days. And it gave me money. Like that was
from nowhere.
I would never believe this thing will work. And
I like that because if I open up sometime a studio or something, when I hire people, I would like to ask them, which is your favorite project you worked on, and not say something like this one because it was for this big company or something. I prefer to be something personal, so I can hire them to do the exact thing that they like to do as a personal project, not something that the company hired them to do.
Yeah, that's true. I love personal projects because I feel freedom, you know, for the when you work on the graphic design industry, you suddenly realize how much the client can limit you, you know. It's like I feel it like a fight with the client, that you have your space and the client comes and it starts telling you, I want this color, I want this shape, I have this idea, I have this. And the more he gives you, he takes from your personal space. He takes from your freedom. And you have to fight back to gain your freedom back and to educate them and tell them, look what your competition is doing, what you're telling me. Sometimes they will tell you crazy ideas, and you fight to get your space back. And a lot of times you end up giving a final work that you're not 100%
Happy about.
or you don't feel it like your child 100%. You feel like it's...
I don't really like to see it as a fight.
Yeah, I know.
Because
but
actually it's for them.
It's a dance. If it's not a fight, it's a dance.
Yeah.
You have to dance with them.
Yeah,
and you
I
have to
prefer it, call it a dance.
Yeah.
Because in the end, I don't want to give something that they will just like, but something that will definitely reach the goals they want to make.
Yeah.
But I see what you're trying to say.
Yeah, and being in this industry for all these years, I feel so blessed to have the time or to work on my personal project. I feel 100% free.
Yeah.
For a chance, for a change. Actually, I feel 100% free, and I enjoy it 100% too.
Okay.
Anyways.
So we're getting close to the end. Where people can find you?
Okay. So my photography portfolio, it's thanosphotos.com. It has a lot of jobs from Greece, street photography, portraits on my home studio, as I told you before, so you guys can check it out. My Instagram is the same, Thanos Photos, Thanos_photos.
Okay, I will have all the links for your social media and website down in the description if you're watching this in YouTube. One more thing I would like to do with every guest is in the end of the show, ask them 3 random quick questions, so you will need to answer them quickly. The first thing that comes to your mind.
I will try.
Okay, first one. Who is your favorite YouTuber?
My favorite YouTuber is Chris Ellinas. It sounds,
You cannot say me. You cannot say me.
For real? Okay, my second favorite YouTuber, it's Casey Neistat, for sure.
Casey.
For sure. For a million, I can tell you a million reasons about it. One reason, he's for me, he's the first vlogger. He invented vlogging, and he invented vlogging before YouTube, because if you check out his video, and you will see that before YouTube he had a camera with a cassette, and a lot of times, but nearly all the time, he was turning the camera to himself and talking to himself and showing his stories to his friends probably. But if you imagine that he did this since his early years, you realize that when he opened the YouTube channel, he already had 15 years experience in vlogging.
And you're wondering why he's so good at it
and
familiar with it, but he's doing it his whole life.
His whole life, totally. Yeah, he's vlogging his whole life before internet was here.
If you could use only one lens for your camera for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
Oh my God! It's so. If you are working on photography and video at the same time, especially vlogging, it's really hard, because if I say the 50 millimeters, the prime lens of Canon, that is one of my favorite by far for portraits. Yeah, the crystals inside are unbelievable. I will not be able to vlog anymore. So I will choose the pancake lens. We need to put it in a very long distance. Yeah, I will choose the pancake lens, the 24 millimeter for crop censored Canon cameras, that allows me to vlog, and I use it a lot of times for whole body photos on the street, usually with other bloggers, fashion bloggers and stuff like that, to show the whole outfit. And it combines a cool option for video and photos at the same time.
Okay, one more.
Especially like a prime lens. Pick a prime lens.
Okay.
Not a zoom in or zoom out lens. It makes a huge difference. You're gonna fall in love with it when you try it, and pick a prime lens. That's the tip.
One thing you will never do again.
That I've done before?
Yeah.
Oh my God. There's a huge list. Oh my God. Well, I try now to don't upload everything. I try to have a more critical eye. I try to wait because when I tell you, when I film my footage and I go back to home, I can't even sleep. I wanna start modding and hit upload. I'm like that. I fell in love with everything I shoot. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck. I try to be patient and hit pause for a moment. I know in the school they tell you for 3 days before you send your final work, don't look at it because your eye gets used to the mistakes and it passes them. Don't look at it for a day. Don't look at it for, if you spend 8 straight hours, close your computer for 2 hours, and then when you take a look, you will see the reality. You will see all the mistakes that will appear to you. I don't do this. I skip this step. I never do this. So this is what I have to work on. I have to take a step back before I hit upload or before I hit send and take a good look back to the project.
So, any final thoughts you want to say or advice to people that they want to also move abroad?
All right, do it. I will say do it for sure. Stop. I know you can get scared. It's normal. If you don't get scared, something is wrong with you. If you feel like you can move to a strange country all alone and all this stuff, I know it's scary. But do it, because even you can do it for 5 months. Can you do it for 5 months? In the first 5 months, I learned a lot of stuff. I had to work on my character a lot. I had to work on my English a lot. I surpassed a lot of problems. So can you do it for 5 months? Do it. You will see benefits. Can you do it for longer? Do it. You will see more benefits. You know, you will come back with a wide open mind. So yeah, go for it.
Cool. So thank you for being my first guest. Thank you for having the courage to be on this first pilot, not knowing what is gonna happen.
It's cool. I told you, like you said on your first vlog, I like to challenge myself. So it was a great opportunity for me to be here.
And thank you for being with us until the end. I will have this on YouTube. In the description, you will find the links for all the platforms that the show will be as a podcast, only audio. Just leave a comment with things that I can improve on this show, and see you in the next one.